Hey y'all, quick note. While My Hero Academia was created for kids, this podcast is not safe for work or children. All trigger warnings and spoilers for each episode can be found at our website, myheroanalysis.com. Thanks for listening.
Hey y'all, this is My Hero Analysis, a podcast about My Hero Academia, aka Boku no Hero Academia. We are three grown adults who mine Japanese children's cartoons for serotonin because God knows our brains aren't making it naturally.
Hey y'all, my name is Wyatt, and this week I discovered that Mothman and the Archangel Gabriel are the same entity. Take that as you will.
I'm so mad at you. I totally forgot that, and now you've reminded me, and I'm mad at you all over again.
It fits.
No.
He's a harbinger. He's a harbinger. Gabriel's a herald. Wings, terrifying eyes. Look, I think it fits perfectly.
No, but Mothman is hot. Gabriel is just a dude who serves the Judeo-Christian God.
Well, maybe
sometimes.
Mothman, maybe Gabriel fell or whatever. He's like, bro, I'm sick of being your errand boy. And then when he fell, he became Mothman.
No, I refuse to accept your headcanon.
Okay. I'm very but we're just
Maria, you missed this entire conversation.
Yeah.
I am not surprised. I miss a lot of things.
You were probably working like an actual adult sometimes.
Yeah, the catalyst for this inspiration was that I sent Nicole a lot of Mothman TikToks, and then my brain just magically made the connection. So,
and I'm mad at your brain, and I will never forgive your brain. Which brings me to my little update. Hi, this is Nicole. I kind of have a two-pronged update. The first one is actually related to this podcast. And that is, I found a bunch of cursed TikToks yesterday, and I sent them to the group chat, and Maria and Wyatt are like furious at me for them. And I'm just cackling on my couch.
They were very hurtful.
I'm glad I was at work or I would have screamed.
You're banned. I will figure out what you're banned from later, but you're banned.
You have no power to ban me from anything. I live too far away.
I would have thrown my phone if I hadn't just bought it. I would be like, heck away.
All right. Well, my second one is more general, I guess. Wyatt told me to wear my new shirt.
Yes.
It's like a muscle tank top shirt, but I don't actually have muscles, listeners. Just rest assured, I don't have muscles. But the shirt it's actually merch from another podcast, but it basically says daddy across the chest because I'm the daddy in this situation.
Nicole is the podcast sugar daddy.
Yes, I am. I accept this role and revel in it.
Well, this is Maria. So I guess the main thing is right before this podcast, I was just buying a bunch of Switch games.
Yes.
And I'm so excited.
Tell them about Dadish.
Okay, so Dadish was the one that made me want to immediately play. I was looking for Spyro because I loved Spyro as a kid and I've been wanting to play it and it was on sale and I was like, yes, I need it.
Wait,
and then
sorry.
I'm just,
Spyro is the dragon?
How do you not know who Spyro is?
I do know who Spyro is. It's the dragon, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes, the very cute dragon. Yes, okay. I am also a fan of Spyro.
Spyro is great. And they have a triple game remastered and I'm so excited to replay it because I love Spyro. Ooh. Anywho, so I was just going through the sales on the Switch games and there is a game called Dadish, which is a dad radish, and then he has to go on adventures to find his kids because they've been kidnapped, and I am so excited to play it.
That's the cutest goddamn premise I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna be a dad radish.
Everybody gets to be a dad today.
Yes, definitely. I feel like we should say my mention and Maria's mention, they're not ads. We're not sponsored by these things or telling you to buy these things. They're just things that we have. We have no sponsorships or ads. It's fine.
It's just things we want to play and have.
And where.
We like them.
Exactly.
All right. So this week we are covering should that be episode 6?
I think so.
Whoops. Okay. I made a typo. This week we're covering episode 6 of the anime, which is Rage, You Damn Nerd. And the accompanying manga chapters are chapters 7 and 8. So we're just going to leap right into it as usual. The episode starts with a recap of Izuku throwing the ball and managing to channel One for All into just one finger, with an emphasis on minimizing damage and maximizing output. Aizawa is very proud and kind of amazed. And like, to be honest, like knowingly breaking your finger with the intention of just dealing with the pain while you complete other physical tests definitely takes some strength of mind. This is definitely not the first time we'll see Izuku's pain tolerance and determination, noting that they're very high.
Yeah, definitely. And Aizawa, he tries to hide how impressed he is when Izuku like calls his name, and just, honey, just let your feelings be free. It's okay to be visibly proud.
Feelings are for the weak. Aizawa probably.
So then we get into the intro credits. And after the credits, we get to see everyone's reactions to what Izuku has just done. So more or less, they're all amazed. Ochako is like very supportive and like, hell yeah, you did it. Ida is very analytical. Aoyama is kind of low-key insulting. And Bakugo, I mean, his face, it says everything. He's doubting everything that's ever happened in his life, ever. Foundations are shooketh. What the fuck? Was he hiding his quirk the whole time? Q, inferiority complex, etc. ad nauseum.
Yeah. Katsuki is definitely shooketh. His mouth is so far open, like jaw dropped, that we can actually see his molars, and he has like exhaustion bags grow under his eyes in a moment's notice. And of course, because it's Katsuki, he immediately thinks that Izuku is up to something rather than like just getting his quirk late or something else innocent, which would be Izuku's MO, utter innocence. Like, sir, do you not even know your friend rival at all?
You know what, though? You know what?
What?
Izuku, he can be a little sneaky.
Yeah, but
he can be a little sneaky.
You can be sneaky and innocent.
Oh, yeah, no, most definitely. But I think actually Katsuki is right on the money. Oh, I mean, obviously we know he is, but like, he's got a pretty good understanding of Izuku's like hidden personality.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I like how everybody's personalities are coming out. Bakugo looks like his entire world just got turned upside down, which, to be fair, it did. I just imagine him having like his life flash before his eyes, like the impending when you fall in a slow-mo situation, like everything leading up to that point, and knowing it's gonna hurt, like me and the oven incident.
The what?
What is the oven incident?
Have I not told you about the oven incident?
No.
Maybe, but you get hurt a lot, so.
I mean, fair. Okay, so the oven incident. Once upon a time, I was coming back from work on a Sunday, and I drank an entire bottle of Prosecco.
As you do.
Yes, as you do. At the time, we had a collection of bottles on top of my counter, on top of the cabinets at one of my old apartments. So I did not put it up there that day. I waited till the next day after I got out of work. So I climb up on top of the counter, and like I put the bottle on top, and then I put my hand to hold myself on the stove, and then my hand very slowly starts to go, and I'm like, and I start to lean, and I'm like, oh no, I'm about to die.
Oh God.
My hand slips, and I grab onto the oven door.
Oh
no.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And then the oven door slowly starts to open, and I can't save myself at that point. And I'm just like, okay, well, this is how I die. And my life starts flashing before my eyes. And like everything's happening in slow motion. And then just like next thing I know, I'm fallen into the oven, rolled off the oven door, and landed on my back.
Oh my God.
staring up at the ceiling for like 5 minutes. And this was the time where I was living with 5 other different people and nobody was home. This never happened. And I'm just like, the one time I need someone here.
Oh, this was back in college.
This was right after college.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I was imagining your current apartment.
No.
Okay, that's why I don't remember. It was like
It was
longer
like
ago
5
than we
years
care to
ago.
admit.
I mean, it's not the only oven incident that I've had, but that's the one I was talking
That's
about.
true. You keep grabbing the oven door and forgetting that it opens.
Like, we all know I'm clumsy.
Little bit.
And I get into situations that I just can't get out of until I get hurt. So,
Oh, goodness. Well, I am very glad you didn't die.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. You could just picture you slowly falling through the air,
Oh, my goodness.
rolling across the stove in the oven.
Oh, man.
I had like bruises all over my back the next day and my wrists. And I was just like,
I bet. Good God.
fun times.
Well,
Oh, man.
that was amusing.
Yeah. Thank you, listeners, for going on that journey with us
Yes, thank you.
as I debate tying Maria down to a chair
Yes.
so that she can't get hurt anymore. Anyway, back to the episode. So Bakugo, Katsuki immediately rushes at Izuku, demanding an explanation, totally about to fight. Fortunately, though, Aizawa comes in with his capture weapon, pulls him back, prevents a fight. He's just so over these stupid ass teenager.
And in the dub, at least, I'm not sure what his line is in the sub. Basically, Katsuki runs at Izuku, just screaming at the top of his lungs, Deku, you bastard, tell me how you did that or you're dead. He's very intense, and now all the students, like all their classmates, know like their I guess history or backstory. And is it a panic attack? Is it a gay panic? Is it a strategist recognizing the possible treachery of another strategist? We'll never know, but it's probably all three. And Deku is just petrified.
To be fair, though, Deku has every right to be. He's had to put up with the Pommy's constant outbursts, so poor boy doesn't know how else to react.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, poor Izuku. Also, I really hope that Aizawa using his capture weapon like on Katsuki's face like didn't give him flashbacks or anything like that. Yeah.
Hopefully it was different enough.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah. I will say
Slimy.
oh God. Oh Jesus. Okay. I will say, I think the capture weapon, like as a less violent option for de-escalating situations with like minimal damage to all participants, it's a good option. And I don't know, I think it's very Aizawa. So
yeah,
I'm here for the capture weapon. I like the capture weapon.
Yeah, it suits him very well. And he does finally actually call it a capture weapon. So we know it's not just a scarf. And he says it's made with carbon fiber and a special metal alloy that is not explained. So I'm just going to assume that alloy listens to his brain somehow, I guess, or it's just magic floating carbon metal something. I don't know. It's very confusing.
It's anime physics, so nah.
Yeah, for whatever reason, my mind has a much easier time accepting this because they don't bother to explain it. So my brain just goes, it's magic, and moves on.
Yeah, I guess. I guess we can move on.
We don't have to if you want to rant.
No, that's all I had. It's just a very useful weapon. Also, is he like the first teacher to prevent a conflict between these two? Like especially after middle school and all those asshole teachers? Probably. And he is a very good boy husband for it. Who is vibrating?
I'm so sorry, that's me. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay, it's on Do Not Disturb. I'm throwing it at my bed.
Did it land on the bed and not halfway across the room?
Yes, it landed on the bed.
Good.
So
Proud of you.
sorry.
It's okay. I think it's funny.
I think we all just got distracted. Where were we?
Talking about what a good husband Aizawa is.
Oh, we do stand a good husband.
Yes.
Agreed. Yeah. At some point, I'm sure I'm going to have a lot to say about how Katsuki is treated at UA versus his old school and his home. How it's clearly a change for the better. But that's for later.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
We'll get to that.
Yep. And then Aizawa says that overusing his quirk gives him serious dry eye. And the class all says in sync, like, too bad, that power is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love like realistic limitations on quirks. And also President Mike finally does Aizawa's official quirk introduction.
Yeah. I love how Aizawa just wants to take a nap and not have dry eye. Also, Nicole, can we talk about how majestic his hair looks when he goes from using his quirk to not using it? It was a moment.
Yes.
Do we need a thirst break?
Well, we're always going to be thirsting after Aizawa's hair, but especially like when it just gently floats back down across his face, it's just beautiful. I can't look away.
Yeah, I know. I have to agree with you there. I have to agree. It's a good one.
Pause it at that moment and just look at it.
You're just that gif of who the Glee character fanning herself.
Oh my God.
Yes. It was a moment and like I forgot about it. And then when I saw it again, I was just like, oh yes.
Oh yes. Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be me when we get to the USJ. So just be prepared, listeners.
Yes, be prepared.
Lots of thirst.
So the episode continues with a flashback to Izuku and Katsuki's childhood before the bullying became extreme.
Yeah, cue to Bakugo calling Izuku a pebble. Sir, you're complex, please.
Mm-hmm. But
Started
also,
early.
yeah, but also we have the sweetest baby Izuku face.
The freaking cutest.
Oh my God. Baby Izuku, someone hand me a child, please. Please. Just, he's so cute. My ovaries just explode. But yeah, so the hierarchy between them was established at an early age when Bakugo got his very dope-ass quirk, even before they got official confirmation of Izuku's quirklessness. So it kind of goes to explain Katsuki's reaction right now to Izuku having a quirk. Like, his world is just rocked. His entire identity, worldview hinge on this dynamic between him and Izuku just blasted that to smithereens, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Until the exam, Katsuki thought like Izuku was nothing, but he was a little bug he could crush if he wanted to. Methinks you doth protest too much, Katsuki. But this seems to be a realistic nod to how teenagers don't know how to deal with their feelings and the adults in their lives not properly guiding them on how to express them.
Agreed.
Yep.
So Izuku really admires Kachan's quirk from the start, even during their conversation while they were going bug hunting, which gave me serious Pokemon vibes. That may just be me since I'm a Pokemon nerd. And while they're little, Kachan says basically whatever Izuku gets won't ever be enough to beat his awesome quirk. And their dynamic was just sealed from then on. He believed he would always be the best, and Izuku would always be there to take the hits he doles out. What does a badly adjusted kid do when he loses his favorite punching bag / crush?
That's a loaded dynamic.
Yeah. You go to therapy. That's what you do.
Or you beat up said punching bag / crush.
No, stop beating each other up. And just hug it out.
I think it really comes down to how people have treated Bakugo from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's really messed him up. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Therapy for everyone. And I'm so sorry. I need to take a break to blow my nose again.
I just flipped over my Uncrustable.
No.
What?
Save it. Save the Uncrustable.
No, I just flipped it over so it can thaw evenly.
Oh. I thought you flipped it over onto the floor, and I was like, no.
Why would I throw away a perfectly good Uncrustable?
I don't know.
I don't know. I was like 5-second roll. This is coming from the microphone.
No, it's still in its wrapper.
Oh, well, never
Okay.
mind.
I am good. Okay, we are back. So to continue with the episode, Izuku finishes all of the physical tests with a broken finger, which, I mean, I think we can safely assume that affects his performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And once again, they show everyone's scores to everyone else, which is just really rude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, poor baby tried so hard. But my thing is, this kid has been working out for months. Wouldn't he be the most fit out of all of them?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if the implication is that, like, they've all been doing the same amount of work, you know, like they've all been working as hard as they can to get into UA because they're all obsessed with it. Like, if you look at Katsuki, how he looks in the episode where he's still a middle schooler versus how he looks now, like the body transformation is kind of extreme.
Yeah. But still.
Like, it doesn't make sense for Deku to be that worn out, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it is a broken finger.
Yeah, but it's a finger and he has adrenaline as opposed to like his whole arm. I don't know.
I think it's fine.
We're reading a little too much into it, which what else is new?
That's true. That's what we're here for. So yeah, as we all said, Aizawa displays the results. Izuku, my poor sweet baby, he is last. And so, of course, Izuku fully believes he's about to be kicked out right now in front of everyone. And his immediate devastation is just, it's kind of heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah, you can like see his whole face fall. And in this frame, we get everyone's names if you bother to pause to see if you can remember them. But also, how the hell is Mineta in better physical shape than buff-ass Izuku?
Exactly. What the fuck?
Yeah.
As per comment above.
Yeah, like he can go. Bye.
I mean, he can definitely go. But I mean, like, since they're allowed to use their quirks this time, it's less about being in like perfect physical shape and more about like creativity and using your quirk. And like Izuku, out of all the kids, has had the least amount of time to get used to his quirk, and B, to think of creative ways to use it. And like Mineta sucks, but we've definitely seen in the anime that he uses his quirk for a hell of a lot of different things, and he's not afraid to get creative, although he does it for gross ass purposes.
Yeah, but still, even like there was a test where they were just doing a long distance run. I feel like Izuku would have come before Mineta in that. His stupid grapes don't make him run faster, do they?
Well, he can bounce off of them. So if he throws one, bounces off of it, he could like clear the entire thing in like 2 seconds.
I refuse to believe he is that. He's that good, but okay, fine. I suppose.
You know, maybe he'll just drop dead one day and all our problems will be solved.
Oh God, I hope so. We'll see. We'll see if it happens tomorrow when the new chapter comes out.
Oh Christ. Okay. Maria, any thoughts about that?
I mean, I know I need to catch up, so I have no thoughts. There is an empty brain right now.
Oh no, I just meant about like Mineta in general. If you had anything else you wanted to throw
Mineta
into
can
the
fucking
conversation.
die.
Cool. Sounds good.
We're all in agreement.
Yeah, Mineta can always just die.
Sounds good. We're all agreed. So Aizawa reveals that the threat of expulsion was a quote unquote rational deception to get the kids to subconsciously push themselves harder and reveal the true upper limits of their quirks. Momo figures it out because she is very smart and a good girl. And like, yes, it makes sense. It makes sense. But also, you made my sweet boy cry, Mr. Aizawa, sir. That's very rude.
Yeah. Also, his smile needs work. Like, it doesn't even look like a smile. It just kind of looks like he's baring his teeth and his eyes are really wide.
I think he's just baring his teeth.
My poor husband doesn't know how to do anything. Anyway, we also finally get Kirishima's first line. It's so manly. He's such a good boy. And also Katsuki is like, damn, now I still have to deal with him and my squiggly feelings.
Squiggly.
Izuku turning into a literal ghost. I laughed so hard. He was just like ghosting away.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho.
Yes, anywho, Aizawa ends class and he takes enough pity on Izuku to send him to Recovery Girl, mostly because he knows the following day is going to be even more bazonks and he will need to be in top form. Izuku definitely bazonks. It's gonna, the following day is going to be a lot.
Yeah, true.
So Izuku doesn't take this as a get out of jail free card. In fact, he's just as hard, if not harder, on himself as what Aizawa was aiming for. Like, he's very aware that there's a lot he can't do yet, and there's a lot that he needs to learn.
Yeah. He does exactly what Aizawa wanted him to do. And I like that Aizawa just like dismisses them. Like, is it for the entire day? And just reminds them to get a syllabus out of the classroom. Like, he's so goofy. Also, he's walking very stooped. Like, sir, you're going to get a hunchback.
The disinterested way in which he released the class, and it's almost like, oh yeah, syllabus is a thing. Normal class things. Study something, go do that. Also, I was probably exhausted. He's just thinking of naps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he didn't really do anything. He just had a clipboard.
Yeah, but dealing with teenagers is a lot.
I guess.
I was a substitute teacher at a middle school for a brief period of time. At the end of the day, I was very tired.
Yeah.
Good kids, but they're still a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You scared the shit out of me. The song.
Teenagers scared the living shit out of me. It's still all over TikTok. I love it.
I know, me too.
Maria predicted that.
Yep.
Maybe Maria is secretly Mothman / Gabriel.
I mean, you'll never know.
Okay. So anyway, I say after I derail us again.
Yeah.
So Aizawa is on his way to, I don't know, take another nap or something. All Might approaches him and confronts him. He's not super thrilled with Aizawa's expulsion habit, and he theorizes that the reason Aizawa didn't outright expel Izuku when he's had no problem actually doing that in the past is because he sees Izuku's potential.
Yeah, when he says April Fool's was last week, and you Westaboo, I love you.
And then basically he tells all Aizawa in the dub that he's very disappointed that it was a rotten move. And then Aizawa just quips back immediately with no talk shows today.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Burn.
Yeah. Also, Aizawa immediately calls All Might out for being too invested. He totally just sees right through All Might.
All Might thinks Aizawa is willing to send anyone he deems unworthy home. So that can only mean he believes in Midoriya's potential as much as All Might does. And me personally, I think Aizawa thinks everyone can be worthy of being a hero if they put in the hard work, but he needs to see them prove it and not just say it.
Yeah, we definitely get more info on that later.
Yeah, it definitely comes out. His characterization is very well done throughout the series.
It's a slow burn.
Yep. We do also see one of Aizawa's few real smiles when he teases All Might about being in Izuku's corner this whole time, and AM just gets so flustered because he's such a goober.
He's so transparent.
Yeah, he is. And then in the dub, Aizawa says he doesn't have zero potential. Like, okay, dude, sure. You're totally in his corner now too. Don't deny it. And then he goes on to say, it's cruel to let a kid keep dreaming about something that'll never come true. Like, ouch, that hurts. He's very right, but also so hurtful at the same time. It's mind-blowing. And then as Aizawa walks away, All Might says, in your own strange way, you're a kind man, Aizawa. Like, yeah, he is. And now All Might thinks like he and Aizawa are going to be like teacher rivals in his new career. And honestly, this is probably the start of the All Might Aizawa rare pair. And I'm here for it. I am.
Yeah, before I fell in love with Present Mike, I definitely shipped it like right away.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this entire interaction is just golden. They're both equally calling each other out, which is freaking hilarious.
Mhm.
And their personalities. We're not going to start this today. Are the complete opposite, but one thing they both agree on is our good boy, young Midoriya.
Yes.
And then All Might says, we really don't get along.
Oh God, way to state the obvious, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's okay. You can both be his dads, even if you're
Mhm.
not like what's the word?
Co-parenting?
Yeah. Compatible.
Compatible.
My
Yeah.
God. Where is my brain?
Probably wherever I left mine.
Oh God, we need to find them.
Okay, so after that interaction, we get a cut scene to everyone leaving school for the day. Baby Izuku, he's super tired, understandably. Ida runs up to him to check on his new friend because he is a good boy.
Honestly, after the first day of anything, it is super exhausting. This is
Mhm.
probably one of the most realistic things I've ever seen in this anime. Because I first day of work, I was so exhausted afterwards from interacting with so many people. So I get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right on the money. And then we get another cut to Izuku getting healed by Recovery Girl. The healing process also makes him super tired. And I do like how Horikoshi limited her quirk and made it clear that it's not something Izuku can just abuse.
Right. But also his scream right before the shot of Recovery Girl's extended kissing lips is concerning. Though I guess it does make sense since the last time she did it, he was unconscious.
To be fair, I think any of us would also have the same reaction if we saw it for the first time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's the universal fear of the grandma lips.
Yep.
So when Recover Girl explains her quirk, she says that she stimulates healing, which takes the body's energy. And so over time, your stamina, like against her quirk, will go down to 0. And if that happens and she tries to heal you, you'll die. So you can't abuse her power too much at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, resistance. And I will get more into that when Recovery Girl has her moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. So then we cut back to Izuku and Ida leaving school. Ochako joins them and everyone is finally introduced properly.
Yes, and Izuku can finally stop calling her that girl.
Yes. I love how butthurt Ida is over falling for Aizawa's deception. He's so cute. I love him. There's also some confusion over Izuku's actual name, but Ochako ends up spinning Izuku's very mean Deku nickname into something really positive, and he ends up adopting it officially, not in the least because he's got a big old crush, and who could blame him?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, she just thought that was his name after Bakugo called him that. Mm-hmm. And he corrects her while just blushing and stammering, and I just really felt that in that moment. Also, Ida calls the mean nickname unsportsmanlike. like it's just a silly reaction. Like, does he not like get the childhood rivalry thing? Yeah, but
it is pretty mean, to be fair.
Yeah, but unsportsmanlike, I don't think that's a synonym.
It is.
Yeah, I guess
it is very Ida. Let's put it that way.
Yes,
and Ida's head is a synonym.
yeah, definitely. So Ochako apologizes, but she thinks it would make a great hero name, and Izuku immediately agrees. No thoughts, just awe. Mm-hmm. Also in this shot, it's just like as an aside, they forgot to add green in his hair, so it's like a really close callback to his original emo design.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, if you go back, it really looks like his original design. And then Ida is just befuddled by this whole interaction, like the asexual that he is.
Yep.
Yeah, Ochako is the sweetest bean. I love her so much.
Mhm.
Also, Izuku just accepting it after her explanation is the funniest thing. Sir, your Panic is showing. Been there, done that. But anyways, Ina cannot compute the interaction. He's so focused on the logical that he misses everything else. Like, poor clueless bean.
I love him. And then there's this little bit in the sub where Izuku compares this like reversal of his nickname to the Copernican revolution. And it's very nerdy, but also, I mean, it does completely reevaluate his self-concept and like, you know, the way he views his position in the world. So fair.
No. What? Why? Why did he go straight to Copernicus? In the dub, he just calls it a paradigm shift, like a normal person. So when I saw this note, I was just, I couldn't move for like 3 minutes. Like, what?
I love these differences so much. They make no sense sometimes, at least to us. So we get the weirdest conversations. like
does Horikoshi just like Copernicus, or does all of Japan like Copernicus and use it in daily interactions? I mean, sure, I guess. But
well, maybe
why?
he was like reaching for the term paradigm shift, but he couldn't quite get it in his mind when he was like writing things down in the manga. But then like later they were doing the anime and he was like, oh, now I know what I was trying to say.
And he was reaching for paradigm shift and came up instead with a Middle Ages astronomer.
I mean, it's kind of like the OG paradigm shift.
I guess. Whatever. I'm not going to get it. It's fine.
Sorry. Hold on.
Goodness.
I don't know why that tickled me. I'm sorry. Okay. So cutscene again to Toshi / All Might and his ominous warning that the quote unquote real work begins tomorrow.
Yeah. And with this ominous warning, Izuku is just so happy that he's just making friends. What a bean.
Yeah, Toshi just worried about his kid. It's not like there's 19 other kids he needs to teach.
He'll adopt them later. It's fine.
Yeah.
Especially young Katsuki.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I have so much to say about that.
We'll get to it. Take a shot. We'll get to it.
Yeah. Wyatt has something to say about absolutely everything. Who knew? Okay, so after this, we get an explanation / montage of what exactly goes into UA's hero course. So they have hero classes, but they also have regular classes. And my husband, present Mike, is the English teacher, and they're so shocked by how normal he is when he's in teacher mode, and he has to like snap back into his hero persona in order to get them interested in the class.
So cute. But also, whose idea was it to put towering shoji in front of Jiro? Like my
probably Jiro's.
Jiro's, yeah. That's right. My emo child. She's an emo child.
I guess my short nerd history is like, she can't see the board. How's she gonna do things?
You're so cute.
I was always in the back. I had a Z name, so
yep.
I just lived with it.
You got really flexible, just leaning over when you had to take a note.
I just read in the back of the classroom.
Yeah, we didn't take notes. I'm sorry, darling.
I mean, I begrudgingly took notes only because I was anxious about failing, not because I didn't want to fail. It's like a very thin line.
I was the kid that never took notes and passed all the classes, so
very nice. Yeah,
very Maria nice. And I definitely skated by. Yeah,
that was me in college. I kind of mellowed out.
I plummeted it to the hellhole. So,
Aww. Well, you also went into an incredibly difficult field in one of the top schools in the country for that field. So,
yeah, and you made it out. You succeeded.
Yeah, exactly. You got a degree and now you have you're in an amazing job. So you did good. Be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I was talking about it to my coworkers. He gets degrees. That was my whole mantra the entire time.
Amen.
But also, Bakugo, who looked really uninterested.
Yeah, heaven fucking forbid he ever shows an ounce of interest in anything.
He cannot. He can't show interest. That would be showing an emotion, and that would be vulnerable.
Yeah, how dare people know I have emotions?
Yeah,
poor emo child.
It can't happen.
Present Might looking like a wannabe rocker going off to his day job.
I love all the black leather though. I love it. I want all of it.
He's certainly dedicated.
Mm-hmm. They do also briefly show the cafeteria, and a lot of later scenes in the manga and anime are going to take place here. So that's probably why they let us know what it was.
Yeah, and I love how Izuku is even fanboying over Lunch Rush, the cook hero. Like, sir, he really doesn't have any other interests or hobbies.
Yeah. This looks like Deku is writing love songs about
I mean, he probably is.
You know what? Same though. If you could give me delicious food really quickly, I will also write you love songs. So fair. And then we proceed to their hero class for today, and the teacher is All Might. His entrance. He's wearing a vintage costume. There's so much going on. Holy cow.
I love him. In the dub, he says, I am here, coming through the door like a hero. Yeah, no, more like a goober, sir. I love you.
In the sub, he says, I am coming through the door like a normal person.
He says so different.
Not that interesting.
It's like the polar opposite.
I know.
Also, we get Aoyama just staring right into camera, like always, even though All Might is like right there in front of him. I love him.
Yep, absolutely. And so we learn that for today's class, they are going to do their first round of combat training. Let's go.
Woo! And they call it like Heroing 101, which I thought was really cute. Like all the students are so engaged. They're so excited, except Shoto, who looks blank as ever. My poor son.
Shoto!
He blew out the mic.
I love him so much.
I know. He's such a good boy.
He is. He's so good. Poor baby.
Literally my son. Also, All Might, there's no reason to be that dramatic, but I mean, you do you, boo-boo.
I mean, he has every reason to be dramatic. He is All Might.
Yeah, that's kind of a key part of his personality.
Yeah.
This is where we also get to see everyone's costumes. And some costumes are cooler than others.
Yeah, and we will get to it in future episodes.
Yeah. I think the color theory episode is also due to come out the same week this episode comes out. So look out for that, listeners. That'll happen later this week.
I'm excited to learn. Also, we could, in theory, do a bonus episode on each of the kids' costumes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
If we really wanted to get into it.
Oh,
also,
man.
The My Hero theme song slaps, and I look at my children all dressed up nicely. I love it so much.
I know, they look so professional. They look so good. Oh, they're growing up too fast. I don't like it.
It's only the second day.
I know. Speaking of growing up, All Might, when they're all lined up in their hero costumes, he addresses them with, "Now shall we begin, you zygotes?" Like...
Okay. I can't with All Might's dialogue. I haven't seen, I never watched the first 4 seasons in sub because they were like all up in dub by the time I watched them. So I never watched the subs at all. So all these lines are like just
slapping you in the face.
Yeah. Because in the dub, he says, "You look so cool. Now shall we get started, you bunch of newbies?" Which is a much more appropriate word than zygotes.
I like zygotes.
Psychics. I totally forgot about this line. Honestly, is he secretly like a science buff? Like, just one more reason to love this man. Also, what if he got into science because he wanted to know more about his work?
What if he got really into it when he went to work/learn with David?
David! Sorry.
Do you like David?
That just jumped out.
We'll get to David later.
Oh boy.
His relationship with All Might.
I wanted to do that, Dave, but I'm laughing too hard.
All right, maybe I can do it. Dave.
I almost ripped my headphones out of my computer.
Okay.
Sorry.
We love the bloopers nearly as much as we love the actual show.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Take a breath.
Okay, so when the kids get accepted, we find out more about, we get context for the whole costume thing. So when the kids get accepted, they submit a form to the school and they make the kid a costume based on the info that they provide. Part of this information is pulled from the National Quirk Registry. So Izuku has to go update his quirk status. And this is an interesting glimpse into how quirks' natures can be misunderstood or misinterpreted, and the legal systems in place that account for that. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And like Izuku is already registered as quirkless, and him having to update it just reveals a level of mundane government bureaucracy that is just so boring and realistic. I don't know why, but I loved it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he calls All Might like in a panic, and All Might's like, yeah, dude, just update it.
Yeah,
Poor
it's just
baby.
another way to keep tabs on you.
Okay, well, okay, yeah, we can get dystopian with it too, I guess.
Hold on 1 second. I have to blow my nose again. Okay, but I am good. So let's continue. Sorry again about that.
It's okay. All right. And basically All Might explains like this bureaucracy, and he says that like even after kids are registered in elementary school, like there's plenty of cases where people discover that their quirks are different than what they thought they were as they get older. So you can change the forms once or twice, but not too many times, or they get suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
And then his mom comes in, and Izuku literally hangs up on All Might and he panics. He's like,
Poor sweet baby.
oh, I just love that their dynamic has shifted from like godlike worship to a more teacher student. Oh, they're so good.
They are.
Yeah. Also, I like how it's always just casually in the background walking past All Might. I'm sure he heard All Might talking to someone about it and probably put 2 and 2 together after seeing how All Might was creeping around the corner watching Izuku.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's not subtle.
No.
So after Izuku accidentally hangs up on All Might, as Nicole mentioned, his mom comes home and Iko reveals that she made him a costume herself. And I can't remember where exactly it is, but later on in the manga, we get a breakdown of how much all the individual components cost her. And this shit was not cheap. Like, I think if you converted it, it was somewhere in the realm of like $300 to $400. Like, you know, if you've got a hungry teenager at home, that's groceries for a month. That's like half a month's rent. That's a massive ass chunk of change. So to me, it's just like a sign of how much she cares. Also an apologetic gesture, because she's been feeling really guilty about not supporting Izuku enough for a really long time. So she takes this opportunity to apologize for hurting him and making it clear that she's going to support his ambition to become a hero from now on.
Yeah. She is like the epitome of a good mom.
Mm-hmm. In a realistic way.
Yes.
And I thought that Izuku deciding to wear the suit was also like a sign of personal growth. So he's got this formative childhood memory that he doesn't feel good about, but this is helping him to resolve his feelings about it and letting him move forward. And then also, like, it's proof that if you just fucking apologize to your kid for your mistakes, then you can save them a lot of trauma. Like, mistakes are unavoidable. And you know what? Sometimes their consequences are too. And sometimes you traumatize your kid without meaning to. But then if you just like talk to your kid and listen when they come up to you and say, hey, what you did hurt me, then you can validate their feelings and prevent that harm from growing. So yeah, I don't know. Thank you for letting me dump all my mommy issues onto this podcast. Woo!
Yeah, but those are all solid, very valid points. And you laid them out really well.
Thank you.
And yes, that is all well and good. I agree. But also, why the terrible bunny?
It does look like a bunny.
It does. It's bad. Also, I do want to point out that, yes, his red utility belt is a direct copy of Kachan's from Kachan's entrance exam. And I just had this thought just now. I wonder if Inko went to the Bakugo's house and was like, hey, do you have anything I could use to save a little money? So now I'm going to headcanon it that it is actually Kachan's belt.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah. He's also wearing the red shoes. And he also thought of knee and elbow pads, which very good job.
Yeah.
Smart boy.
I agree with everything. I knew Wyatt was going to have a lot to say about this and Inko. So I just was like,
what a surprise. I have a lot to say.
So I was just like, I'm just going to let Wyatt take the reins on this. It's fine.
Yeah, and then we got to look at the other kids' costumes. Pro Chaco, she ends up in a design that she doesn't really like because it's too tight. We'll get okay.
We'll get to it.
When we get to Momo's costume, I'll talk more. Okay. Also, Mineta is a perv. Horikoshi, why?
And I was just like, well, while I have to say this is not as bad as some animes, so Chaco at least is completely covered. Release your emotions, Wyatt. Release.
That's fair though. At least she is covered.
Yeah. And I mean, even Izuku can't help but stare, but he immediately looks away. And then Mineta just looks directly into camera after looking at Ochako, and he just says, I love this school. He's such a pervert.
What?
Expel him.
Mineta, I will need an entire episode to express my absolute dislike of this child.
We can do that. We can make that happen.
We can make a Mineta hate bonus episode.
I want a Mineta hate bonus episode. I have a lot to say about this great child.
You know what? We're gonna put it on the schedule. We'll figure it out.
Yep. Here, I'll write it down.
Perfect. So All Might immediately sees the connection between Izuku's costume and his own trademarks, the hair/ears, the smile thing, and he has to hold in his laughter and his incredulity. And neither of you are subtle.
No, neither one. In the dub, he says, you're so obvious, as he's holding in his laughter.
Hypocrite.
Sir, that is your child. Are you even surprised?
And then All Might goes on to reveal that they will be practicing fighting in urban areas because villains often attack indoors, and that comes with special considerations. And their teaching model that they're kind of using is the test first, lesson after model.
Yeah, and then Suyu says, isn't this a little advanced? And yes, it is, Suyu.
Yep.
I mean, I understand why they're doing it, though. It's one of those concepts you actually have to feel and do before, actually knowing. Personally, I learn better this way because then I can actually understand what they're talking about and see what I need to improve on. So I'm here for it.
Totally. And of course, the kids have a shitload of questions, obviously. But never fear, All Might has a script. The absolute goober. I love him.
He's so goofy. I did love that Bakugo's question was, how much can I hurt the other person?
Oh, son.
Oh, honey. And then Aoyama is just looking for compliments on his cape.
Aoyama just wants the sparkle.
Aoyama has his priorities in order.
Yeah, I guess he does.
So the rules are the kids will be split into 2-on-2 teams, with one team playing hero roles and the other team playing villain roles. The villains are inside the building with a quote unquote bomb, heroes head inside the building and have to capture either the bomb or the villains to win. But the villains can win by catching the heroes or keeping the bomb out of the heroes' hands. And this is like a timed battle. So if they can keep the bomb away from them by the end of time, then they win. And I did like the video game graphics.
Yes, yeah, they were very helpful. It is Mortal Kombat like instead of Super Mario.
How can you tell?
Because I played Mortal Kombat.
They all look the same.
They are not all the same.
No, they're not.
Anyway, what Ida's reaction to these rules is he just says, life is a random series of events. Please excuse my rudeness. He's so stiff. And then All Might is just like, no problem. It's fine. Let's go.
Also, I don't remember who said it, but this feels very American. I was like, how much do you want to bet that he took this directly from a video game he played in the US?
Oh my God, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
So then we find out that Izuku and Ochako are paired up together, and they will be battling against Katsuki and Ida. And we'll get into that and my feelings about it later.
Yes. And I'm excited because I have no idea what these feelings are. And then All Might says to embody villainy. If things go too far, I'll step in. Sir, you kind of don't, but we'll get to it.
Ida bowing to AM for after interrupting and apologizing for not thinking again. He's such a flustered, straight-laced son.
I love him.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. And then despite his fluster over Ochako and his fear about Katsuki, Izuku, of course, is still determined to do his best. And it's very visible and it sets Katsuki on edge right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Izuku just wants to work hard. Also, the determinate look that Izuku gives Bakugo is absolutely surprises him, since like Bakugo is so used to Izuku like immediately cowering. He does not know how to compute.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's just gobsmacked and angry about being gobsmacked.
Yes. And of course, Ida gets way too into character, and Katsuki is basically completely ignoring the assignment.
Of course. And Ida's line in the dub is, even though this is training, it pains me to be aligned with criminal behavior. Like, honey, you take things far too seriously. Is he on the spectrum? Probably.
Yeah, this is the episode that made me fall in love with the Scoober.
Yeah.
He's such a tryhard and so serious and doing everything perfectly. Like, I just was like, okay, I accept. You're my son now.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Katsuki is in the corner, like getting himself worked up over Izuku's quote unquote deception. He's taking it super duper personally.
Yeah. Bakugo even asks Ida like an actual normal question, like an actual normal person, which I didn't remember. And I thought it was a really interesting look at how he like kind of talks to other people. And Ida answers honestly, pointing out that he's pretty sure the quirk hurts his body. And Bakugo is just pissed that this is such a normal thing for him. He essentially thinks that Izuku has been tricking him all these years and he wants revenge. Like, honey, it's not all about you. Their dynamic is just so fraught with unspoken feelings and imagined slights. Just talk to each other, please.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Bakugo doesn't know how to talk. No one taught him how to express his emotions properly. Conceal, don't feel, and all that good jazz.
Oh, my son.
And of course, like Izuku consumes Bakugo's every waking thought. So he just naturally assumes the same about Izuku. And he's like, of course, every single thing he does is to affect me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, he's way less obsessed with you than you are with him, sir.
Yeah. Izuku literally has cold sweat going on and the battle hasn't even started. Like, poor anxious boy.
Oh my God. Yeah. No chill. Two sides of the same coin, just in completely different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then Izuku reveals why to Ochako, they have this conversation about why he still bothers with Katsuki, even though he's such a shithead. And really for Izuku, the issue is that all of the good in Katsuki and all the bad in him are condensed into the same traits. Cue my rant later on in this episode.
And in the dub, Izuku just responds to Ochako with the line, literally, he says, and he's so amazing. Like, sir. And he goes on to say, he can be a real pain, sure, but his strength and confidence and his ambition, not to mention his quirk, are so much better than mine. And he just uses that to fuel himself into becoming ever better. And he just wants to catch up to Katsuki.
Yeah, Izuku knows Kacchan so well. So he probably also realizes that Kacchan is going to go for him directly. So.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Ochako, you know, she not only accepts this, but she recognizes how important this like face-off between him and Katsuki is to Izuku. And she just leaps right in there with him because she is good and perfect and wonderful. And I may not ship this, but you know what? I totally get why people do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. She's like heckin' impressed, and she calls it a fated battle between rivals, probably to hide from herself that she is now very much crushing hard on our broccoli boy.
Ochako is so supportive and already showing how good she is at working as a team. I think she's probably the best at working at a team compared to everyone else.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100 emoji. Fully agree.
See, I do ship it, but to be honest, I ship Deku with pretty much everyone. So I would be happy whoever he ended up with, no matter what, except Vanilla. What?
So the training starts, and we get to see that the building is being monitored much like the exam was, only this time they're being watched by their fellow classmates.
And All Might vows to grade Izuku just like any other student without playing favorites, as he's now been accused of by Aizawa.
To be fair, Aizawa is probably right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And during this exercise, Izuku realizes that he can't use one for all because he can't control it well enough not to seriously injure or even kill someone. So he's going to have to handle this situation like he's still quirkless. And so he falls back to relying on all of the analytical work he's done so far in his notebooks.
Excuse me, they're called dream journals.
My bad. His dream journals.
Okay, but hear me out. If this is the future, why would he need a notebook? Also, now that I think about it, how does Midoriya's hand not have carpal tunnel syndrome from writing all this? So many questions.
You know, I thought about that too. Didn't they mention at some point that like because of quirks manifesting, like things like technological progress were halted for a while everyone like dealt with the chaos?
Yeah, there's a line in it. I don't know if it's in the sub or the dub, but basically the narration is that if quirks had not manifested when they did, they would be living like they would all be living in space. Like they would have a space civilization, since that's like the next step in like scientists' view of where human civilization is headed if we don't all die from the climate crisis. So that's probably why he had notebooks a bunch. And also his mom is like working class, so maybe he just didn't have something to write it down with.
That's true.
Yeah. But he also only has like 13 notebooks, and I'm just looking at all the notebooks I have filled, and 13 is not that many. So
yeah, like remember like all the literal handwriting we did as kids because tablets weren't a thing. And like just remembering like how much more resilient our bodies were back then. You could write for 8 hours and your arm didn't feel like it was about to fall off.
Yeah.
I mean, true. Although I do get a cramp in my hand. I started getting cramps really like in high school. So if I write too much, I'll get a cramp.
That blows.
And then a permanent indentation in my right ring finger from pressing down on a pen too hard.
Yep, I have a callus on my middle finger from writing.
Yeah, I've got one on my ring finger. Anyway.
This has been Personal Corner.
Okay, back to the episode. Boom! Katsuki, out of nowhere, just runs around a corner, plows right into Izuku.
Yep. And in the notes, Wyatt put it as Boom Boy out of nowhere. And I had the immediate visceral reaction and idea that Boom Boys should be the name of Katsuki's future sidekicks, at least the male identifying ones.
Yeah, the other kids don't necessarily like this surprise attack strategy, but All Might points out it's still valid and he's correct.
Yep, he is. And Katsuki literally blows a hole in the wall and they're both just so dramatic.
They're just living in their own telenovela.
Oh my God. Insert 100 emoji here. Izuku, he knows this guy. He knows this kid since they were kids, and he completely and totally predicted this. He was ready for it.
Not sus or anything.
No, not at all.
Oh, they're dynamic. But yeah, then we get the revelation that the notebook that Katsuki blew up contained notes about Katsuki himself, because Izuku admires his abilities enough to study him. And just the mixed signals between these two, oh my God, they're so exhausting.
And Izuku just jumps right into action using a martial arts throw with his hips to counter Bakugo's usual right hook because he knew it was coming. And he just knows that's what he leads with because he analyzes all the great heroes and he includes Bakugo in this list of great heroes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they were friends, I
think at that point I just started key smashing.
Yeah, you did.
Oh Christ.
You're welcome.
What more is there to say?
You're welcome. But really the amount of analyzing that went into Bakugo is not something that simply like happens overnight. Izuku has literally been with this kid since they were munchkins. So the fact that Bakugo is so surprised goes to show that Bakugo didn't know as much about Deku as he thought he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then, of course, after Izuku totally throws Katsuki to the ground, he stands up and he makes this declaration that, like, my Deku means you can do it. And basically, he's, like, reclaiming that title and then throwing it directly back in Katsuki's face.
Yep, definitely. And in the dub, he says, you can call me Deku, but I'm not the same defenseless kid anymore.
Boom.
Yep. It was just a perfect moment. Is he perhaps getting Kachan back about the roof comment? Maybe, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. It's never addressed. But he certainly hasn't forgotten, even if he focuses on the notebook / dream journal.
Yeah.
He might also not want to repeat that threat where everyone can hear him and paint Kachan as even more of a villain from their second day. And he goes on to say, Deku is the name of a hero.
Hell yeah.
Yes, Izuku reclaiming the name Deku is probably the first step into Izuku learning how to be more confident with his abilities and show that he's not the same as he was before. So I thought it was really cute.
Yep.
Oh, it's an amazing moment. And Ochako, of course, is so moved. And I think we can all agree that this is like the real beginning of her crush, and like, who can blame her?
Yeah, she is so in love with our broccoli boy, as is everyone else.
Oh yeah, we're fully on the everyone is obsessed with Izuku train.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a club.
She's the president.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They hold daily meetings.
Oh my God.
Daily.
Every time Izuku smiles at someone, they have to have like an emergency meeting.
Yep.
And then Katsuki responds to this challenge that Izuku issued with grace and poise. No, psych, it just releases a flood of insecurities. Y'all, this is gonna get fucking nasty. Buckle up for the next episode. It's gnarly.
Yeah. And essentially Kachan remembers that little boy he used to beat up, and he still sees Izuku shaking in his boots, but he still wants to fight. And he just yells, "That's why I hate you." Mm-hmm. And like, sir, that's a lot to unpack.
God.
So much to unpack. This really goes to show how deep Katsuki's insecurities run. To him, Izuku represents the part of Kachan that he hates about himself.
Yes.
So much in the future.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You put that so well.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that. And finally, I just want to say to Kachan that intimidation isn't going to get you everywhere, honey. And Izuku's determination to beat you is a direct response to your own high strength and drive. Bakugo doesn't want to be the inspiration, not like Izuku does. He wants to be the undisputed hero, so no one can even think of hurting him again, let alone getting past his mental defenses. They are literally two sides of the same coin. These poor children.
These idiots. So then we get end credits and the preview. Ida voices his first preview. To no one's surprise, he's a method actor who takes very seriously, and we love him so much. We get more flashbacks of Izuku and Katsuki's childhood again, as well as scenes from the upcoming fight. This shit is going to be intense.
Yep. I do want to focus a moment on Ida himself and some of his good lines. And he says, 100% is the Ida way, and that he won't besmirch his family's name. Like, honey, take a nap. It's okay. He's just so in character. I can't get over him. And then he says, hold on, I didn't know Uraraka was a baseball player. Like,
oh my God.
Honey, you're so cute.
He is.
Ida getting into character is so freaking adorable. He just wants to be the best at everything. I'm so excited for next week. It's going to be so good and so much to unpack.
God, I love these episodes. This is one of my favorite little bits in the entire series. So, yeah, just because there's so much.
Yep.
All right, so that's it for the episode. Now we're going to transition over to Nicole, and we're going to talk about some manga differences and then Easter eggs, fandom theories, all that jazz.
Yep. So for chapter 7, again, there's really not much changes going on between the two chapters. So there's just little things. Katsuki thinks Izuku is a pebble instead of a bug, as he calls him in the dub. Denki's hair is still incorrect and short. And finally, All Might calls the students his wards instead of newbies or zygotes. And I just wondered if this was a callback to Batman.
Knowing Horikoshi, probably.
That he is, homeboy's not subtle. And for chapter 8, there's the minor dialogue changes as usual. But there was one change from one of the last panels. Izuku says that Deku is who always does his best rather than the name of a hero. So it's interesting that the translators thought these were interchangeable, I guess. Also, Ida says, darn that Bakugo. So I hope that's carried over to the next episode.
That's so Ida.
Now I'm picturing him with the That's So Raven like show on the Disney Channel.
Oh my goodness.
Eye going and then just going, darn that Bakugo.
Definitely a character that's legally not allowed to curse.
No. All right, so now the Easter eggs and red thread kind of round up. There's nothing huge happening in this one, but we notice a few things. And we're going to start with Wyatt's feelings that they mentioned earlier.
Yeah, to no one's surprise, I have taken a molehill and I've turned it into a giant fucking mountain range. So my personal feelings are that the Katsuki and Ida team up are foreshadowing not just for the Stain arc, but for both of the development arcs for these characters. I mean, this is really just me reading way too much into their personalities and how similar they are. Am I projecting, like, because of how much time I spent in childcare or the very brief foray into the public school system? Who knows? But as far as their similarities go, like, both of them are far too disciplined, like far too much. Like, I hear people say all the time, like, that kid needs more discipline whenever they come across like a quote unquote difficult child. And like, yeah, a lot of kids need more structure and better boundaries. But the vast majority of time, at least in my experience, kids with obvious behavioral problems often need less discipline and more empathy and kindness. I definitely think that both of these kids are prone to outbursts because of all the pressure they put themselves under. Katsuki's outbursts manifest as rage and physical violence, and Ida's manifest as accusations and officiousness. And also just because Ida's outbursts are generally less, quote unquote, violent, like, they're not any healthier.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
They're definitely both hyper focused on like purging weakness, but they've gone so far that they've turned rigid. And as we all know, rigid things are actually very fragile. They break very easily. So you played yourself, kids. And then, there's this whole debate over like positive versus negative character traits, but that really isn't a thing. Like there are just character traits that can be applied multiple different ways. And like, if you have this goal to become a better person, you don't have to fundamentally change certain aspects about yourself. You just got to figure out how to apply the character traits that you have, like just figure out where you fit and how to use what you've already got. Like there's no need for a personality overhaul because goodness can be expressed in an infinite variety of ways, and good people look like all sorts of things.
Yeah,
and
exactly. But that was a beautiful rant. Thank you for sharing. I do want to kind of.
Sorry, what?
I had no idea this rant was going to happen because after I finished my notes, I was just like, okay, yeet myself off into the distance.
Yeah, I ended up inserting this. I ended up doing the timeline part like early on in the week, and I kind of rushed through it. So I went and added some more notes like after y'all were done. So
well,
I was furiously typing one day. I was like, I have so many feelings.
I do want to kind of bounce off that last point you made about how goodness can be expressed in an infinite variety of ways. And that kind of ties back to how quirks, like even quirks that aren't quote unquote the best or the most flashy, they can still be trained and expressed in different heroic ways. It doesn't matter what you have naturally. You can use them however way you want and be heroic.
Yeah, so many characters get an automatic label because their quirk manifests in a violent manner, and it like affects them for the rest of their lives. Oh yeah. Sorry.
It's a lot. We have a lot of feelings about this show.
So many feelings.
Now, I only had like 2 other like Easter egg red thread points. One was that All Might apparently didn't read Eraserhead's whole teacher file because we know his expulsion habit has a lot more going on, and we will learn about it in the war arc, which is officially coming in season 6. And I am very upset about the future.
Oh, Christ.
I'm not ready.
No.
And finally, so when President Mike is teaching English, because that's what he does, I can't help but wonder if the sentences he uses to teach grammar are supposed to be Easter eggs. Because the 4 sentences that he used, I don't know if it was because I'm coming to this recording and these notes after watching like the end episodes of season 5, which is very Shigaraki heavy. But the sentences are: the man whom I respect most is my father. That is the house in which he lived. I well remember the day on which we both met, and please tell me that all you know. And that's the one that had the grammatical error. And I don't know, it just gave me a lot of Kotaro, which is Shiggy's dad's, feelings. And it just made me think about that house and then how he and the big villain met. And I'm probably reading way too much into these sentences, and they're probably just random, but it made connections in my brain. So I just have to wonder if the connections are real.
I don't think you're reading too much into this at all. When I saw what you had written, my brain like exploded. What the absolute fuck? Holy shit.
Though,
I'm
right?
so glad you noticed that.
Yeah, like
that is incredible.
It fits so well with Shiggy's origin. Like they all.
Anime tends to do that. Anime tends to do that where they'll add just sentences you think are random and they're not. So
yeah. Well, I kind of hope this is one of those cases, because now that I've made the connection, I can't like disregard it. Like it matches too well.
And I mean, like we've got a pretty good sense of Horikoshi's writing ability. So
yeah,
we know it's definitely not beyond his ability.
Yeah, even though this was hundreds of chapters removed, it's definitely within his skill set.
My God. Incredible.
That man is a treasure.
Yes.
And thank you for pointing that out. Seriously, that blew my goddamn mind.
Oh, cool. Glad I could be of service. And I mean, that's the last thing I had for the red thread section. So, you got anything else?
I'm feelings out.
Yeah.
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 I think my brain just like fried because I didn't read this part either.
Yeah.
For you listeners, I usually will just stop my notes after like the episode ends and then just like come back and read all of this, the Easter eggs, and when it's going on. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
You freestyle it.
Yeah, at least we get like real-time reactions from you. That's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all going to be like emotionally drained after like these next couple of episodes. They're a lot.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, sadly, season 5 is now over, and we don't know. We don't know when season 6 is premiering. At least I don't. I haven't seen a date yet.
No, I haven't seen a date yet. And I guess that now is the time for me to go watch all the episodes I haven't watched.
Yeah, you do. You're
Yes,
going to be
please.
you're going to be very emotionally damaged. Please join us in that pile.
And I already am, so like I said in the group chat, season 2 of Kimetsu no Yaiba is happening, and I am not ready. So many people are gonna die.
Oh no.
Boy. Oh dear. That sounds like a lot. I'm sorry.
I will be so. If you get notes of me crying just constantly,
That's okay, baby. We'll be there for you.
Yeah,
We got you.
We got you. We'll carry you.
All right. Well, that's all for me.
yep, I'm good.
All right. Well, this has been My Hero Analysis. You'll hear us next week. And in the meantime, go beyond plus ultra and thirst responsibly. Bye, y'all.
Thanks again for listening. If you'd like to get in contact with us, have questions you'd like us to discuss on air, give topic suggestions for bonus episodes, or submit fan art for us to display, visit our website at myheroanalysis.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Just search for @myheroanalysis. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.